Hey traders, Ed here from Revolution Swing. A very obvious but extremely important step needed prior to taking any trade is building a trade plan. It tells you when to enter, add, stop, and most importantly, it tells you when to take profits. And in this short video, I'm going to show you what it's like to do a quick build of a swing plan. So, without further ado, let's get into the chart.
All right, guys, so let's dive into the chart here. We're going to do a rough build on a trade plan for a swing. So, obviously, this is going to be rough. By no means am I telling you guys to take this. The levels will be a hair rough, but this is going to be more of a visual for you guys to kind of see what goes into it roughly. So we have lift here as an example. Now, lift hasn't been around forever. I mean that's the chart, but I like to definitely zoom out in the beginning, kind of get a broader picture, bigger picture of, kind of what the stock's doing a little bit, right? I mean, you can see it's definitely been downtrending. Obviously that's rough, but that's the general direction that has been going, right? But you can see it's bouncing. It's trying to bounce, but we'll see what it does in the future. But let's dive into this here. So if I was looking to take this short, right, at this moment, at this juncture, we're going to look for entry points. So I would mark, let's see, I like that level there, right? That's a good resistance point. It's a solid resistance point. And then you're going to potentially look for another one. And zooming out, I like that one right there, right? And there's multiple reasons why I like that, right? It's a good resistance point. And then funny enough, you can see it lines up with the body of the gap right there. There is resistance right there as well. Okay. So we have three levels marked. Now all these, roughly I like, okay. A lot of this, and eventually with screen time, you start seeing what works, what doesn't work, what areas of resistance on shorts work, and vice versa with longs. It also helps to make sure that you're educated. If you guys are not educated or are seriously considering getting educated, I definitely would implore you to go to tricktrades.com and check that out, because I could tell you being educated and having an idea of what you're doing is going to make this shit a hell of a lot easier, guys. So definitely head over there and check them out, because the education is phenomenal. And again, it makes this a lot easier, guys. So with that being said, areas, right? So what I would do is we're going to make that a stop, because you want to stop, right? And I generally don't like to have just one enter area and then a stop, right? Because you want to see if there's, a couple points that it's going to bounce, right? So for rough idea, that's a good enter area. That's a good resistance area to potentially do an add. And then here, because we have the body of the gap, which has significance, okay? And again, these are things that are taught at Trick Trades. I like that level. Now, I'll utilize that as a stop here. Anything past that, if it confirms break that, then I would get out. And then potentially what you could do, right, depending on how you build your plans, is, you could look to take another stab and be like, all right, if it breaks this area, there's a chance that it could come up to here. And why am I saying that? Because I know that, and I could look to take another stab there. But for visuals, we'll get rid of that and just leave this. So we have an enter, or an add, depending on it. And again, it's all based on your risk tolerance, your account size. A lot of factors go into it, guys, right? Somebody with, a new trader with a $2,000 account, $1,500 account, is not, going to have the same risk tolerance and things like that of somebody that has a $25,000 account, a $100,000 account. Everybody's different, right? So you also want to, those are things that tie into it. How many options are you going to take? How many shares are you going to take if you're trading equities? Those are all things that go into building a plan. It's it's a little bit more than just slapping levels on a chart and seeing it get there and just taking the trade. But for visuals, this is kind of what the beginning steps of building a trade plan for a swing goes into it, right? Your enter, your potential add, and then your stop, where you potentially can add a little bit more, before it breaks, to see if you can get it to finally start breaking down on the short side. So And then important is obviously you need to know where you're going to pay yourself, right? So I would click there. We'll use that as a nice profit target. I like to label mine green. And then, we'll just pay ourselves along the way. So we'll mark another one there. We'll make that green, and just pay yourself along the way. I mean, that's the most important thing, and that's the whole point of doing this is paying yourself, right? You could pay yourself there, and you could widen these out a little bit too, right? $40 stock, even though it roughly moves $3 a day, this varies based on volatility. But there's nothing wrong with slowly paying yourself, along the way, and then magically, let's say it came all the way down here, I would anticipate it to bounce there a little bit, I could use that as a profit target, you can make this a profit target, and then boom, voila. We have marked up a rough trade plan for a swing on lift if we were looking to enter it, right? And like I said, you can look to enter here. You got the level marked up to potentially add here, add a little bit more, and then potentially if you get the confirmation break, stop out, and then if your plan is predetermined, to take another stab at it at another predetermined area, then, you potentially can have that marked up. And then as it's working, you just pay yourself along the way, collecting profits. And if you have still some on, you just keep doing that and see how far you can break it down. And the setup and the process is the same, for long. So that's it, guys. That's a rough build on a trade plan.
So remember, guys, building a trade plan is extremely important, and it can make the difference whether or not you succeed or fail. So I hope you liked the video, guys, and I hope you learned something. So remember, if you want to get properly educated on how to trade stocks by a true professional, head to tricktrades.com. And if you want to use that education to grow your account while you learn with killer swing trades, head to revolutionswing.com. So until next week, this is Ed signing off.